Man, I've just had to come here. Tell me I'm not the last to know. Tell me. I mean, I've even stopped doing I'm mid makeup. I'm so late, beyond this late. Please tell me. I mean, I've gone down the rabbit hole. I fess up, the Puff Daddy, Puff the Magic Dragon, but this is nuts. Did you all know this? Am I the? I mean, I loved these guys.
Soon consumed him. When Michael Jackson was only 11 years old, he actually moved in with Diana Ross, who was a 25-year-old woman. Michael at the time referred to Diana Ross as his mama and his girlfriend. It was well known that Michael and Diana were having a relationship. I don't even want to imagine what a grown 25-year-old woman was doing living with an 11-year-old boy. What's sad is that Michael referred to Diana as the one that got away. I am confident Diana wasn't the only one who took advantage of Michael, as he was in the industry full of monsters. It was obvious that as big as a star as he became, he was indeed a monster himself because of what these monsters had done to him. While Michael was at the peak of his career, one of the biggest stars in the world,
Now that's where I come in as well. Because who do you blame? Clearly someone abused her. She became the enabler. You know, I was thinking about this myself in my own situation, you know, with my parents. Like, from where do I stand with my father who enables my mother so much? But someone obviously did it with her. But, you know, am I the only one who's really struggling now to listen to any music? Like, I wasn't, you know, the Drake show. I'm a Gen X. I need to do my makeup. But seriously, it's just, you know, man, what it is it's like, how can all this beautiful creative music come from such abuse? They clearly, I mean, he's right. Yeah, he's right. Traumatized to monetize. This is what all the entertainment industry is about. This is what it's all been about. And we have to speak up about it. It has to be cleared up from the bottom. It has to be all cleared up. All the trauma, all the dirt, all the yuck has to be cleared up. I think I got to do, maybe just for me, but definitely a trauma release. But this is, you know, this is how trauma gets passed down. You know, you could almost call it generational trauma in a way. Sorry, if I haven't met me, my name's Nehar. I'm an expert in, you know, trauma recovery, and that's something I've experienced in my families, and, you know, also in the Black community. That idea of ever standing up to your parents, it just doesn't exist. The idea of crossing a man, I can feel it in my jaw, you know. And this is how, you know, you also know that there's trauma there still in the body, because I'm you know, I'm watching this and listening to all this, and I can feel all this pain and, you know, all the people that have come out. But, you know, from this, all this pain was created, which doesn't also surprise me, because back in the day, you know, I knew a guy who's now very well known, accomplished musician, Nitin Sawhney, and unwittingly he was involved in my abuse, in the sense that he taught someone how to hypnotize his then kind of like work dude, colleague, mate, whatever. And he didn't know that's what he was going to end up using it for, but this is the legacy of all of this. It's huge, and we can't, you know, dismiss it, but we do, because people, you know, look at the whole Drake, I mean, Kendrick Lamar Drake thing, all that's coming out, but it, you know, it needs to, but I mean, seriously, was I the last to know? I loved her. I resonated with her, you know. I was a kid who resonated with this stunning, and of course I'm not naive. I knew a fair amount of this, but so the goosebumps. Maybe just like me, if you ever find you're like that and you hear all this information and it becomes too much, and if you've gone through anything similar and it re-triggers you, because the mind doesn't know the difference between, I keep looking at my ridiculous makeup half done, but the mind doesn't know the difference between the memory and the present day if you haven't released it. If you haven't released it from the neurons in your brain. And that's why all these women, victims, survivors talk about, the fact that basically, they've they never walked away. They became to understand that love is abuse and abuse is love. That's part of the grooming. That's part of, oh, God, man. That's why I think it makes sense, with MJ. He never knew. He didn't understand where he's, why it was inappropriate, why everybody was up in arms about what his behavior, kids sleeping in his room. Because what the hell, that's what he was taught. And so, So as I was saying, yes, if you haven't met me before, my name is Neha, and basically I work as a trauma recovery expert as well as an intuitive healer. And, I created my own modality, which is where we get to release the trauma without reliving it, because who the heck wants to relive it? And, prior to 2020, I worked with mostly sexual abuse survivors, because you definitely don't want to, relive that. And, they've got cracking on, oh God, I could fill my whole diary probably with everybody out at the moment coming out of Hollywood and the whole entertainment industry. But this is what I've understood with working with over nearly 300 survivors, 300 plus survivors. It's the first experience you have, sexual experience, intimate experience, the way you're introduced to that will set a pattern and neurons in your brain to always kind of like receive, to find that attractive. I'm stumbling. I'm gonna edit this, redo it, because I'm just in shock. I'm in shock. So if you're in shock with me, please tell me someone out there is also in shock with me. But she's like 80 something now. What are they going to do? Oof. Goosebump. And imagine back in the day, because there's no cameras. Got away with everything. Okay. Oh my God. So late.